Okay, we got Jaden Clark on the left. We got Gavin Schwab, Blake Minsterman, and Tate Catnese from CSP. We're going to start with Tate Catnese, returning Conley Cup finalist. Tate, heading in your senior year, you've been a starting quarterback for 4 years down at Class D CSP. Just talk about your season last year and what you've been doing this offseason, and talk about where you are now.
The season last year was super good, successful. Not didn't get to where we wanted to be though. We lost in the state semifinal. Been working hard this off season, get better. We're losing 5 offensive linemen, but obviously gonna get better there. Um, been working with my receivers, trying to work on chemistry and just kind of get better in the passing game, working on the running game, working on everything, just getting better all around.
Tate, you've been part of right now a team that is expected to get to the state championships. It's your goal. It's the mission, right? When you guys set on that field for first practice, you're talking about how do you get back to the carrier goal. What kind of pressure is that on you as a quarterback?
Uh, w- in as a whole team, we're just taking it game by game. We don't really feel the pressure as much as it may seem like it. We're just taking it game by game and just focusing on the next week, the next day of practice, just getting better every day.
How do you get better every day? How does that team get better every single day, especially at the positions where you've got top-notch players at every single position?
Just make sure we're giving it 100% and working hard, day in and day out, just working extra hard, getting to know the offense, just listening to coach, just getting better.
What's the secret? What will help you get to that next step and back to the stadium? What
Uh,
has to happen on the field?
I think it's the offensive line and defensive line. I think the offensive line has to do what they did last year. Like I said, we're losing 5 starters, so we're just gonna have to see improvement from them, and D line's gotta be beasts on the inside.
Just talk about having 3 different schools come together every year to try and form one team. Is it tough welcoming like the Climber kids in or the Panama kids? How do you keep everybody on the same wavelength?
I don't think it's tough. I think we all get along pretty well. What's weird is we play each other in basketball, so that can be kind of interesting. But no, we're all friends. I think maybe at first it was probably tough, but we all get along pretty well now. We've been playing together for 5 years, so.
Tate, talking to coach before, I thought the toughest part of the three schools coming together is for kids having to get on a bus just for practice at times. Do you think that's probably the toughest thing you overcome? And how have you overcome that?
That could be the toughest. Yeah, that's probably the toughest thing to overcome, and the 3 different fields too that we have to play at. Uh, but the bus isn't really that bad. I think we all kind of enjoy bus time together, so it's really not that tough to overcome. Um, but yeah, I'd say that's probably the toughest.
Have you guys put that last game behind you, or is that motivation for the coming season?
I think a little bit of both. It's definitely motivation for this season. Obviously, we want to get back there and beat them this year. But I think we've also kind of put it behind us, um, and just focusing on week 1 at Waverly.
Gavin, another incredible year that you've had next year. You've lost some big players, as we know, right? But you also bring back some really good players at the same exact time. How do you overcome, first of all, some of the losses that you've seen, especially on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, so first of all, we lost our entire O line. So, like Tate said, it's gonna be tough bringing them back. But I think we got the guys to. We're a smart group. We got the guys to bring back what we had last year. And obviously, we lost Dalton, great player, kind of Kafanas. He he's hard to replace. He's a smart guy, but I feel like we got guys to replace. We got a lot of guys coming back. We got kids that were sophomores last year coming up to juniors, and we got our class coming back too, which is pretty strong.
The one thing Pioneer is known for year after year after year is that offensive line. It really is. And it's been seen over and over again. How do you guys keep replenishing that offensive line the way you have year after year?
I mean, out in Pioneer, we're a bunch of country boys, so we're out in the fields working. We're in the weight room. Coach Dupre gets us in the weight room 5 days a week, every day, working out with us. He's one of the guys that pushes us the most. He's in the weight room working out with us 24/7. So that's how our O line builds, kind of how we do it.
Can you remember the last time you saw your coach smile or laugh?
Yesterday, actually, we cracked a big joke at STA when we were up there working out. But other than that, game time, he's serious. He's straight face.
Is he hard nosed like Monday through Friday, and then game comes? And
Yeah.
what's he like? But whenever we see him, he's always ready to tear your head off.
Oh yeah, he's always hard nosed, always hard on the guys. But that's what he brings out the best in us. That's what we think. He's gonna be hard on you, but he always loves you. He's always there for you whenever you need anything.
Who's your favorite receiver right now on your team?
Favorite
Favorite
receiver?
receiver. You got to name one.
We got a couple,
You
but
got to name one.
that's tough.
You're on the
Probably
spot.
Sammy Platt. He's
Sammy.
been my best friend since third grade. So
Okay. Tate, same question. You got three receivers there. That
It's tough. That is tough.
give me one.
Uh, we'll go with Bryce just because we've just had that connection for the past few years.
You seem just to know where he is at all times.
Yeah.
Jaden Clark, Canisius. You guys have that big hurdle in front of you, St. Francis. You guys think you guys have kind of narrowed that gap just a little bit?
Definitely. Last year lost by one. That hurts, but I think we learned from it and we continue to build. So I think this year it's going to be a different game.
Jaden, you are a true two-way player in the sense of the word, especially here in Western New York. Talk about, though, what part of the game that we're going to see at the next level. So what do you think you're going to see yourself at the next level? Offensive or defensive, and why?
It's hard to tell right now. You never know. So stay tuned. I don't know myself. So
Is there a side of the ball that you prefer right now that you enjoy playing more than the other?
I have a lot of fun on offense right now, but football is football to me. So either way. With it.
Jaden, of all the guys you lost this past year, seniors that graduated, who do you think you guys are going to miss the most? Who's going to be the toughest to replace?
Kevon Walker, he was a pretty good guy for his last year on the defensive side. And when he had to come in on offense, he's a big guy, hard to replace, but I think we got the guys to do it this year.
Yeah, Canisius is known for having some powerful running backs in the past. A number of them have gone on to play in the NFL. When you see Elijah Kimball back there, what do you see out of him, and does that give you guys a lot of hope for your season?
He's a competitor, so it's always good to have a guy that's going to compete back there and give every play his all. So that's what I see out of him, and that's one thing that's the thing you ask for in a teammate.
Is the Joe's game the game of the year? I mean, is that the one that you guys all look forward to? Because that's coming up, I believe, on the 29th.
It's definitely the game we had the most fun in. Definitely. It's a emotional game. Football is an emotional game at the end of the day. So it's definitely one of those games.
And you got one more shot at it. Take us through that last time ever playing St. Joe's.
Um, Last time we played St. Joe's at our field, playoff game.
No, I'm talking about the next time you play him will be the last time
Oh, it's
you
gonna
face
be
them on the
tough.
gridiron.
It's gonna be tough playing them for one last time. That's every time we played Joe's, it was just I love the atmosphere. A lot of people come out.
Yeah.
A lot of people from different leagues everywhere. All of Western New York comes to that game.
Blake Minsterman, Lancaster. Just talk about your relationship with your quarterback and your head coach Eric Rupp, and then just how are you guys going to, attack teams like Bennett this year? I mean, Class AA is obviously very tough, but everybody in this room and everyone in Western New York knows that at some point the game of the night, the game in Western New York will be when you guys take on Bennett. Just why don't we go through those first three questions?
Well, me and Alex, we've grown up together. I mean, he's been my quarterback since we were in kindergarten. We started playing together when we were 5 or 6, I want to say. But that's my brother to me. And we go to the field like weekly, and I see him at workouts. Comes to my wide receiver coach for me, Coach Overton as well. But yeah, we're always together on and off the field, spending time. And then with Coach Rupp, I mean, our relationship has grown like very tight in the past few years. But I've always like looked up to him as a kid, like seeing him, thinking like, oh, there's the head coach of the varsity team. But now we're just really close with him. Going down to his office during school, spending time together, texting about things with football and personal stuff. But yeah, and then with the season, I mean, there's games we circle on our calendar, but we take it one game at a time and really like want to focus on our team and like what we're doing, and then we have our goals, and that's kind of we just take it week by week.
Like you are on a streak right now that may not be matched for years to come, and that is the streak on how many times that your team has made it to the state. Right? It is almost a second address for Lancaster right now.
Mhm.
Talk about what that means to you and how that pressure is for that whole team on trying to get back and keep that streak alive.
Well, I mean, it's like a culture we've really all like grown up with that winning mentality ever since I was a kid, going to the varsity games and watching the teams and like just expecting to win and like that being like what's expected of our team. And uh I guess with like we've like with getting called up when we were freshmen and sophomores and being with the varsity team and seeing the intensity, that's like we see the expectations and then we just kind of build and develop and spend more time together and then that ends up being our goal.
I talk about this all the time. At Lancaster, the way your team camaraderie is, it really is something when you talk about how many kids are a part of that program.
Mm.
It is something. Talk about what you do to make sure that team camaraderie is there, that you guys carry the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, we start workouts soon after our season ends, and we spend so much time together in school, in the weight room, but then even off the field. Like, we hang out every day. Like, this summer, there's not a day I don't see someone on my team, and we're together just building our relationships. And that translates to the field because, like, like, your boy is going to be there, have your back. He's going to help you and do anything. He'll kill for you. So just kind of having that relationship on and off the field and growing up together really helps.
It is something to watch your school talk and say the alma mater at one point, especially after a win.
Mhm.
There isn't a school in Western New York that does anything like it. And it is an unbelievable atmosphere. Talk about what that means to you as a player at the involvement between you and the fans in the school.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, Foyle Cling Field, there's no atmosphere that can match it. The Friday night there's nowhere else I'd want to be. But it's just that like our school, everyone comes together for football. I feel like it's really like the culture of our school, and like everyone like looks forward to those games and talks about it for all year and can't wait for it. So, and like with all those kids, like we've all been together since we were little kids. So like see, like they look up to us, the younger kids, and then everyone always wants to be there and for the atmosphere and like to back their classmates.
So just about a month ago, you guys were at Sweet Home for a top 100, whatever you call it. And unfortunately, one of your guys went down. That you guys were, you know, have you guys rallied around this young man, or what's the feeling when you saw one of your teammates go down, knowing that he's not going to be able to play this year?
Yeah, I mean Sebastian, I can't even begin to imagine what he's been going through. Had his surgery 2 days ago. Uh, but yeah, we've just been there supporting him, talking to him, going and paying him visits, texting with him, just keeping him in the loop and making sure he's good and just trying to help him get through this because it's definitely a tough time for him to accept all this. He's like mentally and physically, he's in pain, but especially like the mental side of it.
And for Tate Cat Knees, what are you thinking about next year? Like, what are your expectations on what you want to do after the season, and who are some of the schools you're talking with?
Um, College football is definitely a big goal, obviously. Um, there are a few schools I've been talking to. Um, definitely want to go somewhere that feels like home. Uh, a good culture, winning program. Just want to go somewhere where I feel like I can play and be there all 4 years.
And Gavin, same question for you.
Yeah, so this spring was it's tough. Recruiting's tough, but you got to find your home. You got to find where you want to be. And yeah, I've talked to a bunch of schools, but University of New Hampshire is where my uncle played. So that's kind of my goal for this season is to get on their radar or be on their radar and be one of the top guys for them.
And then Jaden, same question.
Um, I'm blessed to have two offers right now, one from the University of Stony Brook and the University of Buffalo. I'm just gonna play this season, give it my all, and see what else comes. And if not, I'm happy that I have those two options to fall back on.
Kevin, go back to you now. You talked about the losses that are happening. Your game's got to change a little bit going into this season too, right?
Yep.
Not that you guys weren't a passing team last year, you absolutely were, but you may become more reliant on the passing game this season. Talk about how your role as a quarterback is going to change from last year to this year.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna merge. our guys for receivers are this is the group we got to do it with. We've never had kind of this group, this amount of athletes, 265 guys out on the outside. So I think this is the group that we got to do it with. We got to start here, start from the first game, look on to that other, watch film, do what we got to do to prepare for the next game of the passing game. You know what I mean?
Jane, we talk about the rivalries here, right? We talked about St. Joe's, but I really believe that St. Francis rivalry is just as hot as the St. Joe's is. The only difference is the St. Joe's rivalry has been for a longer period of time. Talk about what it is the three of you teams, St. Francis, St. Joe's, Canisius, not to say Timon and everyone else isn't going to be in the mix because they're going to be, but just talk about what it is, how you get up for those two big games locally.
Knowing that we're all not too far from each other and we're all competing for the same thing. And we know those guys on the team, and we've been playing against them for the past 3-4 years. So it's always a good game. It's always something that everybody wants to get up and come watch. So those are the easy games to get up for because you know the atmosphere, the emotion, the adrenaline, it's all running. So that's how I get up for those ones.
Tate, we don't talk about personal goals. I get that, right? But we all do have certain goals that we want to get to. You getting to towards one of the top players in Western New York last year had to have been a goal that was checked and received. Talk about what you're looking for yourself to achieve for the season.
Um, I'm just looking to spread the ball around and be really important for my team. Obviously, we lost our senior running back, so probably gonna have to be play a bigger part in the run game again this year. So I'm just looking to be dual threat, be able to do both things, throw the ball, run the ball, just spread the ball around and win a bunch of games.
Like we also talked about the Bennett game, but also the Orchard Park game is a game that you guys constantly will circle on the schedule. Okay. So what does the team need to prepare for this year to take that next step as a team to be back as the number one team in Double A?
I'd say like focusing on ourselves and like building ourselves towards our goal and taking it like where we're gonna be not only like looking forward but also like looking at the present. Like we're looking at our next opponent and how we have to take it and watching film to prepare for that and like doing our scouting and like we do our scout sheets every week to prepare for our teams. I'll be doing it for offense and defense, my scout sheet, and then yeah.
I would just like to know if there's anybody in the crowd that wants to ask any one of these guys a question. Any player that's here, throw a question out at one of these guys. If not, we're gonna turn them loose. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Put you on the spot. Okay, they're a little shy. Maybe Tom.
I was just going to say last question. Okay. Goal this season. What's the goal for CSP for this season?
Win the state championship.
Lancaster?
State championship.
State championship.
Monsignor Martin first, then the state championship.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.